Welcome back to Wayne TV. I'm Joel Gilly. I'm joined by a good friend of the program, Mark Colebrook, who we all know, and another very special guest, Chris Horne. Christopher Horne is the new principal here at Goldsboro High School. And you're about a month into the job right now?
3 weeks.
A little less than a month.
Yeah.
So how has the transition been so far?
It's been great, man. I've never experienced so much love. I just love Goldsboro. The community has been so welcoming of me and my family, and just really excited to get into the work.
So we're not really far away from students filling these halls. It's been, I'm sure, really quiet for your first couple weeks here. So talk a little bit about what it means to you to kind of take over this school and what you see for this next school year.
So it's just really important. Just coming here, I've been very intentional in explaining, everybody's asking me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? And my answer is simply, it's not about me, it's about us. It's about we. And the way that we're going to do it is we're going to work together for what's best for students. And so I feel really blessed to be in the position. I feel prepared for the challenge, but I also feel encouraged when I've gone around the different communities for different meet and greets. The response has been great. There's a lot of caring community members that just want to see the school succeed. I've been meeting with staff, department chairs, who they're off and they're coming in during their off time to help with the Start Strong, Stay Strong, and Finish Strong plan. That's their free time. They're coming in, and we've met several times. And then, of course, the students. Our students are awesome. They're amazing. And so I was, in my first week, I met with some of our student leaders, and we've been meeting ever since, pretty consistently. Just want to say, too, shout out to my student leaders. Today we had a very, very successful freshman sneak peek where I had about 14 12th grade student leaders plan the event. They welcomed the families in. They gave some words of wisdom. They took them around the school, gave them a detailed tour, and then we broke bread and had a fellowship in the cafeteria today. And so it's kind of like you said, it's been quiet, but it just really does my heart well to feel the energy in the space. It's very positive energy today. With us starting things off, we have our open house coming up on Thursday at 6 o'clock, and I'm looking forward to that and being able to see all the families there as well. But I just really think that it's a really good time for Goldsboro High School. I'm not claiming that it's going to be easy. To everything there's a process. Yeah. But I also want to definitely be intentional about shooting out Miss Marsha Manning, who I think really started some really important work here as far as focusing our staff and students on instruction and the mindset that they need to be successful.
I think it's super cool to hear too that you're taking 12th graders, those upperclassmen, and using them to kind of help the freshmen out. Because I feel like when I was in high school, you always had the class president and all that, and you never really knew what they did. So it's really cool to hear that you're taking that student leadership and using them because it helps them grow as well, and it helps the freshmen out too, I would assume, right?
So we're all about empowering students and staff to lead, right? And so a couple of students today were, I don't like to talk on the mic, I'm not good with this, I'm not good with that, but practice makes perfect, right?
Exactly.
And so you have to put students in position to get those experiences so that when they're out in the world, they can be successful. And that's what we're all about, whether you're preparing for college, whether you're preparing for a career, whether you're preparing for military. It's our job to get to help you with your plan and make sure that you're successful. Because we all know success is intentional. The other thing that is really important, and I'm probably going to ask me about it, but I just want to say is that we changed the narrative about Goldsboro High School. I had a great welcoming, but when I was walking around and not letting people know that I was a new principal and just asking questions about the school, it wasn't as positive. And so we're focused on changing the narrative and making Goldsboro High School a school of choice. And really, our students are great. We have a hardworking staff, and really just being able to highlight all the great things that are happening as opposed to the one or two negative incidents that happen really in every school across the country.
It's so easy to focus on those negatives, and the news media a lot of times focuses on those negatives, but it's all about telling that positive story, which is great to hear that you're really taking that and doing it. And Mark, you're a teacher here at Goldsboro, right?
No, sir.
Where are you at?
I'll
cut
be
this out
teaching,
since he's not.
Yeah, I'll be teaching over at Brockton Middle, but my love is Goldsboro High School, because I used to teach at Dillard, and Dillard's a feeder school in the Goldsboro. So I began working with Dillard and Goldsboro probably about 5-6 years ago. Okay. And as he said, Miss Marsha Manning, we were able to start the meet and greet and things that we're able to continue because she was so welcoming and wanted to really change the narrative. So again, definitely another shout out to her as well.
And Mark, of course, does so much with the students in the off season, if you will, during summer, making sure that kids are staying, making sure their brains are still working during the summer, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you have to, make sure that, you don't have that big gap when you come back to school, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So working with you, and I definitely want to thank you guys for helping me get the word out, because our summer camps and our summer feeding programs and the things that were done for the students or on behalf of the students and with parents, the word got out, and that was a big part of you guys.
Great.
So thank you.
So if you could sit down in front of a group of people, we're talking about changing that narrative. What would you say to a group of people? How do we change that narrative? What do we do?
Yeah, so and honestly, it's an inside-out thing. It really is. And so we also need support from the community. But I mean, every single stakeholder that's in this space, whether it be the students that walk the halls, the staff that teach every day, the parents that are part of the Parent Advisory Committee, and the other parents as well, and then those community stakeholders, and we'll see a lot of them for the meet and greet of the students on the first day. It's really about what can we do to change the narrative and work inside out. A sub-theme of it will be helping the students in their mindset to understand that you're always repping Goldsboro High School. And so that's just really important for them to understand, whether you're in school or whether you're outside of school. It's Cougar Pride all day, every day. And so when we talk about Cougar Pride, we talk about being prepared. We talk about being respectful. We talk about having integrity. We talk about discipline and, of course, excellence. And so once we can show those core elements and those core values in every single thing that we do, both inside of school and outside of school, that's how we're going to change the narrative.
That's a great outlook on, it's for high school, but I mean also in the real world. I mean, those are still great things that I'm glad that you're teaching students these days. Anything else that we left out that you'd like to talk about? Things that the community needs to know about about the high school, what they can do to help?
I guess I don't mind sharing this because I think it's important. We have very high expectations for our students because we know that our students come with a lot of trauma, but we know that they're very capable.
Yeah.
And so coming from a single parent home myself, my father was a victim of gun violence when I was very young. It's just important to understand that, even the principal has been able to overcome some trying situations. And so I'm just going to encourage each and every student when they walk through that door to know that they can truly do all things. And we're going to do everything that we can to support them to achieve all their goals and all their dreams.
That's great to hear, because I feel like you can kind of level with them at that point, because you're a success story, and I feel like sometimes kids need that, right?
Absolutely.
So that's awesome.
Definitely blessed, man. It's definitely blessed, and blessed to have a guy like Mark Holbrook who will come and greet me and say, hey, not only am I saying hello and best of luck, but here we're gonna start you off with a very positive start to your school year.
Absolutely. Chris, thank you so much for your time. Mark, thank you again for setting all this up. Is there anything else we want to talk about today?
We just want to, again, make sure that the community comes out on next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. We'll be here. There'll be, procedures in place that we have to have done. But echoing what Principal Horne said, is one of the things that we want to do is have over 600 students here. And we have, in the city of Goldsboro, there's about 35,000 people and things like that. So the goal would be for every student to have a mentor.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for this year. Last year we had a great turnout in the rain, and that was really good. But then the students toward the, when times got tough, they looked back and didn't have anybody there. So what we want to do is provide that support and that connection right there. So for example, if I see a student and I greet that student and things like that, and then when that student then sees me in the hallway, that student sees me in the cafeteria, we can start building that relationship.
Yeah.
That student sees me in the mall and things like that. Then I can take that mantle that Principal Horne said, we want to change the narrative, and then I can help that student to understand what pride is. Because a lot of times we expect students to just know certain things, particularly at the high school level. But we have to model it, and we also have to, let them know. And he talked about the alumni have that pride because they've gone through the process.
Yeah.
When it was a lot tougher to go through the process. And so we want them to just, have their chest puffed up and things about, when they talk about Goldsboro, when they're here and then when they're gone, that it's a huge responsibility for them to carry that mantle. So we want the community to not just be, excited because Principal Horne's here. We're doing this in the beginning, and as he said, it's when you sign up for this, we want people to understand that we are holding you accountable throughout the process. As he said, you start strong, stay strong, and finish strong. Last year we started strong, and then we were missing the last two pieces. But with him coming on board and helping us with that vision, we're going to stay and we're going to finish strong.
Great.
And so I just want to add too, just to piggyback off what Mark said, when we talk about changing the narrative, we've already been intentional with our Start Strong, Stay Strong, and Finish Strong plan around school culture, around systems, and around instruction. And so those are the three pillars that as a leadership we're really focusing on so that we can really take this thing to the next level.
That's great. We're excited for some awesome things coming out of Goldsboro High School, and if there's ever anything we can do to help out, please let us know, all right?
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.